about planning your PR for 2021. We're here today with Nicky, the founder of Press Loft.
Hi.
And I'm the marketing manager at Press Loft. For people that don't know about Press Loft, we're a PR platform and we make PR simple for brands and retailers in the interior and gift industry. We work with brands like B&Q, Med.com, Loaf, Lini Rose, lots of PR agencies across the UK and the world that help that use Press Loft to streamline their PR. So today we will give you lots and lots of tips and events across 2021 to focus on to do your PR and get press coverage. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Can you see that, Nikki?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Perfect. So today the summary will be planning your PR for 2021. I'm going to give you lots and lots of key dates, and Nikki will do too, and lots of content to download at the end of this webinar. But it will be all of the main dates to focus on this year, as well as COVID-related topics and what happens and what might happen this year. Some ideas on movie releases for your press release and your PR, awareness days. We will finish on trends, and then Nikki will just share a few slides on Press Loft and free PDFs and exclusive freebie. So stick around.
One thing actually is that we pre-recorded this one, and then we're jumping into the live chat right at the end, and we'll answer all your questions then. So do stick around until after the recording's finished. It'll be roughly 20 minutes, we think, and then we'll be there live in the chat to answer questions that you might have.
Yeah, so obviously, as Nikki mentioned, just drop questions anytime while we speak, and then we will just get back to you at the end. So the first thing is, why bother having a PR calendar? And this is a question that we get a lot. And it's really simple. It's just because timing is critical for a successful PR strategy. Just as an example, you don't really want to be pitching too late for Christmas just because you might miss on really big deadlines. So you don't want to wait until December to pitch. You want to make sure that you're planning ahead of time to get the best coverage for your products. So for Christmas, and you will see in the calendar that we have created for you, you should start preparing between June, July to get the best coverage. And this is why PR calendars are really important, just to make sure that you prepare ahead of time. Understanding lead times is also really big, and we're going to speak about that in a moment. So this is why we have created this webinar, just to make sure that you get all of the key dates for you to be successful at doing PR and get coverage for your products. So I'm going to present part one, and this will be about the annual key dates that come years and years again, like year after year. So it might be Easter, Valentine's Day, and how to prepare for those really big holiday seasons. So what we've done is we created a PR calendar for you just on those really, really big dates that you might be focusing on with your range of products. So this might go from Easter, Valentine's Day, spring, summer, Halloween, Christmas, all of the big holiday season that journalists work on every year. So on this calendar, you will have a reminder of long leads and short leads. And every month, I'm going to show you in the next slide, you should have an indication of what you focus on to get coverage in long leads and short leads magazine. And I'm going to explain what is a long lead and a short lead. Again, this is all free to download at the end of this webinar, so stick around because you will be able to get that home. And I think, Nikki, you tried to print it and it's perfect on A4 format. So you will be able to print that in your home and keep it next to your desk just to remember those big dates. So just a bit of information about what is a long lead and a short lead. So long lead is are generally monthly magazines like Good Housekeeping, Elle Decoration, Red, Living, etc. Those magazines work on a long lead time. So they work between 2 to 4 months ahead of the issue coming out. So in January, they will be working on topics like Easter, spring, summer, outdoor living, gardening, wildlife, pastels, floral prints. So this is a reminder for you that in January, big titles will be working on those subjects. So if you wanted to send a press release and get coverage in those magazines, you will have to focus on those different topics in January. And it's on the opposite, the short leads are weekly, dailies, newspapers, news website, blogs, and also social influencers. So every one of those magazines and blogs and people are working on a really tight deadline. So it's between 2 months to even same day coverage now. And we are seeing that more and more on our platform, Press Loft, that we see coverage coming out really quickly now, just because blogs and also online magazines like Elle Decoration, because they have their online issues, they download images and the same day the coverage is coming out.
And that's happening more and more. The industry is massively changing. So it's quite split. So sometimes you'll have a team that will work on the print version and a separate team that will work on the online version. Sometimes the online version will come out ahead of the print version, and sometimes the online version will come after the print version. It just depends on their teams, and it's all very different. But really, if you want to absolutely maximize your chances of coverage, then you're going to send the same press releases to the long lead and then later to the short lead. But obviously not everyone's got that kind of time to spend on PR. So if you don't, then you can maybe pick a hybrid of 2 to 3 months ahead of the date, and then you'll maximize your chances across the whole lot. But on the calendar, we do both so that you know exactly what they're working on to optimize PR if you do 2 press releases.
So short leads in January will be working on things like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Spring, Easter. And then you will see for each month of the calendar, I'm just going to go back to show you. You can see a sort of color code for each month. And those are colors that are generally popular during those months. So January, February is pastel colors for spring. And then we move on to summer with more vivid colors, and then autumn, and then winter with more darker tones. So this is just a reminder that you can also use any sort of colors to do your own PR and to pitch your products. So we have done those calendars years on years, and they're really, really helpful, just as a quick reminder of what you need to do to maximize your press coverage. So the next bit that I'm going to speak to you about is what do you do when you have identified something that you want to speak about? And the first thing you will have to do is get your images ready. So high-res images, if you're not really aware and you've never done PR before, you will need to have high-res images to get press coverage. I'm not going to get into details of what is a high-res image and explaining all of that, but if you want to, you can go to our blog.pressloft.com, and we have loads and lots of content on what journalists are looking for when they feature brands. But just as a tip, we also speak about cutout images and lifestyle images. Cutout are really popular in gift guide, and you can see here on the screen. Those are just images on a white background that are really easy to include in gift guides. So if you're not on Press Loft, make sure you get your images ready. If you're on Press Loft, just make sure that you upload your images as early as possible, just because journalists will be searching for topics like Easter 4 to 5 months in advance. So you want to be able to be seen when they are searching for images like that. And then just remember that if you have never been on Press Loft before, we will be offering a free trial at the end of the webinar. So stick around again, and then you will be able to get a promo code. The next bit is about sending a press release. So this is to get an extra bit of coverage and to let journalists know about your new range of products or about your company. So once you know what you want to speak about, just make sure you get a press release together. And again, if you have never done it before, we have loads and lots of tips on our blog, and you can always contact us at info@pressloft.com, and we'll be happy to give you a few tips or a free trial on Press Loft to send your press release if you haven't been on the platform before. And then the last bit that we thought would be useful for you to think about is also influencer marketing. So if you wanted to push a range of products, or if you really wanted to speak about a season like Easter or Valentine's Day, you could also consider doing influencer marketing, which can push your products to a new audience. And it's, I'm sure, you know, most of you have heard about influencer marketing. It's a huge topic. We are not really going to go into details about that today, but again, lots and lots of articles on the blog today. Today, just about 2021 and how to plan your PR.
Okay, so now I'm going to jump in and I'm going to talk about 2021 specific dates. So Celine talked about those key dates and seasons that come year after year, and I'm going to focus on what is specific about 2021 that you can focus on. So first up, we've got two calendars. So one's mainly around awareness days and one's mainly on film releases. And I'm going to go through a couple of topics now about 2021 specifically. So just on the next slide, we've got films. Like I mentioned, we've got a PDF all on that. We've got the awareness days, and we'll give you a link to follow, which is particularly useful. And then you can't do anything without talking about COVID, even in 2021, sadly. So we'll give you some ideas to prepare a PR plan around both COVID being present and restrictions being lifted. And then Celine will finish up by talking about trends that we've identified specifically for 2021 too. So films, we wanted to give you something a little bit different to use. So it's one of those things that not everyone uses. It's a little bit more of an edge idea. Some sort of PR agencies might use it, but I'm going to give you some ideas now of how to use a film release just to get those extra few pieces of coverage. So first up, I'm just going to talk about which ones are going to be out this year. So we've done a huge load, and some of them are here, like Ghostbusters, James Bond, Cruella, Jurassic World. Now, we've given the dates, but just be aware that these may change this year. Lots of them have been pushed forwards to this year from 2020 because the cinemas were closed and they needed to make sure they made the maximum amount of money. So although we've put the dates in, please do triple check them before you send out any press material about it, just in case it's being pushed back again. So once you've got your film and you've got some products around it, this is how you can start using them. So first of all, it's something called a get the look. So for example, I've given Top Gun and the remake on that one. You could do things around the American flag, so stars and stripes, or you could do aviation as an idea. Then you put any products that are related to that theme and then send a press release on them. But also make sure that that press release has the title of the film release in it, just so the journalist knows what to expect. And what you might do is inspire them to do a full article all about, get the look around the film release, which is the, sort of holy grail of being a really good PR, is inspiring a journalist to do an article. So this kind of thing could work well. The next get the look is again a film release, and this is how you can use it slightly differently. So with Ghostbusters, you could maybe go down a spooky kind of theme, but we've gone more for the retro 80s angle and compiled a great get the look there because we thought that was a little bit more versatile rather than not so many people have ghost related products. So you could use it in an 80s sort of retro theme and see if you could get journalists to write a fuller article on that. And then the other angle are gift guides. So you might have, for example, for this one is going to be huge, so James Bond related release, and you might have a game or a poster or a spy gadget, or there's a lovely doormat there from one of our clients. If you do, again, put as many of them as you've got together. One's fine, but if you've got more, put more in. And then just make sure that the press release title mentions the James Bond film release and the date, and try to use that long lead date if possible, so that you're maximizing your coverage in terms of when you send it. Mm-hmm. And then we've got another gift guide. This is kind of a hybrid of a gift guide and a get the look. So if you've got dinosaur related products around the time of the Jurassic, I think it's called Jurassic World. I actually don't know what the title is. I think it might have been in production still at the point we did this. But anyway, if you've got any dinosaur related products, again, pop them in a press release, pop that title in there with the Jurassic World film title, and hopefully you'll get some extra bits of coverage from that. So next one. Now, this is a really fun one, awareness days. These cover everything from International Cat Day, which is Celine's absolute favourite day of the year, to Toilet Day, there's Croissant Day. I mean, there's pretty much a day or a week to champion anything. If you go to awarenessdays.com, it's a fabulous website which has got every and any awareness day you can possibly think of. In our PDF, we've compiled a variety of some that we think are particularly great. And then you hook your press release into that in the same way as you would do a film release. And I've got some examples here of some really great awareness days. So here, some like veganuary. So anything to do with vegan related products, you could do a press release that would be sent out ideally prior to now to hit the long leads and the short leads. But then you've got the RSPB Big Garden Bird Watch, you've got Burns Night, National Pet Month, Star Wars Day on May the 4th. There's tons and tons of great ones. But one thing I just wanted to bring up, there's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, if you are only selling pink products, but you're not supporting the charity directly, absolutely don't send a press release around them. You need to be genuinely supporting a charitable event, either by giving them money and having a proper partnership, specifically with Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or you could be supporting it in a way, so with RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch, you could be getting more birds into the garden and sitting there with a cup of tea and, you know, having more bird feeders in the garden. That would be okay, but you've got to be very careful and do it very ethically, otherwise you'll annoy journalists and you definitely will not get press coverage for it. So just on the next slide, here's an example of how we would promote our clients around National Gardening Week, which is by the RHS. So all these lovely gardening products are about encouraging people into the garden, supporting their initiative. And what I would just do is in your press release, link to that initiative and just make sure that you're giving the journalist all the information about that event that you're also supporting, and then they might make a fuller article out of it. And then this one, so Afternoon Tea Week, really unusual one. I think it was done or created by a marketing person or within a company. And so again, you can promote your products around it, talk about the initiative, and then link back to Afternoon Tea Week, to the original person who came up with it. Now, COVID, unfortunately, we're still talking about this, and there are opportunities to promote products around it. You've got to be sensitive, you need to do it well, and also you're going to have to plan ahead without knowing what scenario there's going to be. So we've given you two examples. One is if travel's allowed, so things have gone back to normal and you can get out there. We think that travel related articles will be massive, so holiday accessories, holiday clothing, anything festival related and freedom. But also if travel isn't allowed, then we're going to have another resurgence in articles like we did in 2020 about staycations, local holidaying, home spa was a big one, luxury holiday at home, wellness at home, lots of topics around making your home a holiday destination. Now, there's another couple of COVID related topics which are continuing. So made in the UK and supporting local, we're seeing that time and time again, even prior to COVID, but it's had a huge resurgence in 2020. It's carrying on in 2021. So if you're supporting local charities, if you're delivering locally, if you're doing something different, making in a very local town, then do get in touch with your local magazines and newspapers, because I'm sure they'll want to run a feature on you. Something fun was a home bar. So if you just want to go back, so a home bar and garden bars, and you were talking about cabanas earlier, Celine, having a chat about all these different areas which are going to be really big. Zoom backdrops will carry on being a hot topic. Now, supporting key workers, we think this will be really big, and there may be a national day coming up. There seems to be some campaigning around having a national key worker day, and if there is something that you're doing around that, then definitely get a press release out on it. Hopefully we're not going to go back to homeschooling, but if we do, then anything that can help create a home study environment at home for the kids would be a good one. And then there's virtual care and catch-ups. How can you connect virtually, either by gifting or by having some sort of social event with people? Then that again will carry on being popular. And then anything postal, really, anything you can do through the post, not being connected with someone personally, will carry on being a hot topic. But hopefully we'll get back to some sort of normality this year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna now speak about the key trends really quickly. And again, if you wanted to have the full report, you can head to our blog and download the full 2021 trend report that we have done. So the first one is, I'm sure everybody has heard about the Pantone Color of the Year 2021, which is illuminating and ultimate gray. So bright yellow and gray. And if you haven't heard, is the gray is for 2020 and the yellow and happy is 2021. Hopefully 2021 will be happy. But years on years, the Pantone Color of the Year is covered everywhere, online, on paper. Brands are using this color to do blogs, articles, have new range of products coming for summer. So keep an eye on those really big colors for this year, just because you're going to see it more and more in the next weeks. So send a press release and upload your images to Press Loft if you're on Press Loft. If you're not on Press Loft, then come on Press Loft. You can sign up to the free trial, as we mentioned, if you haven't been on Press Loft before. Abstract faces and lines. This is going to be seen all across 2021. We started to see it last year, but we think it's going to keep being huge this year. So keep an eye on those lines and trend. You might want to send a press release if you have any products related to this one, and upload your images and get your images ready for that. Lavender is also a big one. It's not Nicky's favorite, but it's mine. It's been really big in fashion, and we think it's going to be big again in the interior industry. It's quite bright, so it's not the easiest color to speak about, but we think we're going to see more of that this year. Grand Millennial, it's maximalist kind of feel, granny chic. We have seen it late 2020, and we think it's going to keep being popular in the press. So anything that has to do with material, velvet, and maximalist design. And then the last one we wanted to chat about was Spiced Saffron, and it's quite it's a yellow mustard orangey color, and it goes really well with the color of the year actually, and more terracotta tones. So if you have any of those colors, just remember to maybe send a press release again, or just keep that in mind for your photo shoots or anything that you're doing in the coming weeks.
Great. So now I'm just going to go a bit of a summary about what Press Loft does and how we make PR really super simple for people. And then we're going to give you a couple of links that you can follow where you can sign up for the free trial and get the PDF. So if you weren't going to use Press Loft, then the traditional way of doing PR is finding the right publication, then tracking down the journalist that is working on the right part of that publication, then finding their email address, then writing a press release and sending it out to them, and then waiting and responding and maybe sending out images if they've asked for them from you, and then finding the coverage in the press or hiring a media monitoring agency. But if you use Press Loft, all you do is you upload your high resolution images to the site. But if you use Press Loft, then all you need to do is upload your content, and then you're discovered by our huge network of journalists, bloggers, and influencers, and then you get coverage. So the journalists just download your content and then feature them in articles like we've mocked up here as examples. So hopefully you want to sign up for a 60-day free trial if you haven't tried us before. Also, we're going to give you a landing page shortly where you'll be able to download the 3 PDFs that we've spoken about here, and loads and loads of great content. So if we just go on next, then we've got a lovely landing page at pages.pressloft.com/top drawer 2021. And if you stick around, we'll be in the live chat now to answer any questions you might have.